Game dev is hard. If you ever tried to make a game, you definitely know this. I think a big reason it's hard is that you have to be good at so many different things. You have to know programming, art, music, sound design, marketing, project management, and on top of all of that, you have to actually be able to stick to something and finish it. I'm good at a lot of stuff, but I figured no one would care about me bragging about what I'm good at, so instead, here's 5 things that I absolutely suck at in game dev. Stick around until the end for a bonus thing I suck at. I'm absolutely terrible at pixel art. Honestly, just art in general. I try, kinda, but art just really isn't my strong suit. I've recently been trying to learn to draw and get better at pixel art, but it's slow going and definitely a little agonizing. For now, I'm content to just download assets off the internet or hire someone when I need something more individualized, but my lack of art capabilities are definitely limiting me and slowing me down when developing games. Sometimes when I'm struggling with an art piece and I'm feeling really sorry for myself, I'll lament that it must be way easier to be a game dev if you have an art background. But I don't think that's the case. Programming is hard to learn, probably just as hard as art, so I imagine all the amazing artists out there who are struggling with code are thinking it must be so much easier to have a programming background. The grass is always greener on the other side, I guess. Man, I hate project management. I hate Trello, I hate Jira, I hate Todoist. My current project management is literally just random notes in Obsidian with various checkboxes and stuff here and there. I honestly think that a lot of productivity software are just kind of glorified procrastination. I'll spend 4 hours setting up the perfect productivity system with automations and fancy statuses and stuff, only to literally never use it and go back to just not tracking any of my tasks. I've learned that for me at least, the simplest solution is probably the best solution, even if it's stupid and inefficient. Balancing games is hard, especially with my weird roguelike game that I'm currently working on. It requires all sorts of math and formulas, and as a certified dum-dum, this kind of intimidates me. Balancing is weird in general because you have to make it scalable. You could have the perfect formulas for when a player is level 2, but then they completely fall apart when they're level 6. As far as I can tell, the best way to balance a game is through lots of playtesting, but you also need to know the different things you can tweak to make your game harder or easier, which, depending on your game, may not be super obvious. In an RPG, you have stats like health and damage, but in a puzzle game or a platformer, it's not so simple. I mean, technically, I've never really tried marketing, but I don't want to do any of the stuff I see other people doing. It just seems like no fun to me. I don't really like social media, so I don't want to post on Instagram or Twitter or X or whatever. I mean, this YouTube channel is the best attempt I have at marketing/social media, and I'm terrible at staying consistent. Speaking of which, now that I've pointed out how bad I am at YouTube, why not pass me a like and subscribe so I can continue to disappoint you? I've thought about streaming, but man, the schedule streamers keep is intense. Plus, I've noticed when I watch other game devs stream, they have to answer people's questions and take advice about their game from chat, and I'm just gonna be really honest, I don't think I have the patience for that. Sorry. I've sort of just accepted that none of my games will sell 1 million copies or whatever, and that's cool with me. I never really planned on making game dev a full-time job. I like my full-time job, so I'm cool to just develop games for the love of developing games. Don't get me wrong, I'm not disparaging people who want to make a full-time career out of game dev. It's definitely a tough thing to do, so more power to them. I'm just saying that I'm pretty content where I'm at, so it's not a super big deal to me if my games are big successes. Obviously, it would be amazing, but I'm not counting on it, especially considering my current marketing efforts, which are nothing. This is kind of a vague one, but I'm not very good at thinking through the whole project, scoping it, or prioritizing it. For example, with my current game, Roguelike Dungeon Tycoon, it was supposed to be a month-long project, and then I'd go back to my other game. That was 7 months ago. Game dev feels like a real balancing act between what you want to do and what you can actually do. You always have to ask yourself, is this the game I want to spend my time working on? And do I even have the time, capability, and resources to make this game in a way that I'd be happy with? I'm sure we'd all love to make an anatomically correct dragon MMO and sell 1 million copies, but that's probably not feasible for a lot of indies, so it's not really worth putting effort into. But on the other hand, it's really hard to finish a game that just doesn't excite you at all. This is something I definitely struggle with. I have all these big ideas, but I have to be practical and prioritize what I want to be working on with my limited time, which often means letting go of ideas I really cared about, which just sucks. So there you have it, 5 things I suck at in game dev. My philosophy is that you can't really be good at everything, so if you know the things you suck at, you can kind of just outsource everything else. You could either hire some like third-party company or contractor or something, or, you know, get a teammate or a partner. I think leaning into your strengths and leaning away from your weaknesses is much better than trying to be good at everything. Although some things you definitely will have to get better at. For example, I really do have to get better at seeing the big picture and prioritizing. I can't really outsource that. I guess unless I could just hire someone to like punch me in the face every time I, you know, increase the scope on one of my games or have a new idea and switch projects. So if you have any experience in like a position like that, please reach out. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you found it enjoyable or entertaining, or you learned something, or you just feel better about yourself because I suck at so much stuff. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Leave a comment and let me know. It'd be cool to see like people posting like stuff they suck at and then other people offering like advice or help. I don't know, I just like seeing the community and people helping each other out and stuff. It's cool. Guys, I've publicly started 3 different games just on this YouTube channel. That's not even counting all the ones that I've started without telling anybody. Guess how many I finished? 0. It's embarrassing. I'm horrible at finishing things.